Welcome to the mat. Today we are doing stability flow. So come onto your mat, lie down on your back, bring your feet a little wider than your hips and let your knees knock in towards each other. Bring your hands to your belly. Let your eyes close. And just feel the back really supported on the floor. Notice the weight of your feet. And with your hands on your belly, watch the movement of your breath as you breathe in and out. And in this class, we're going to connect into the stability of the muscles around the hips, the pelvis, creating some stability and strength within the joints of the hips so we have greater mobility and ease of movement. So take a few more moments to really cue into your breath. Maybe allowing the inhale and the exhale to lengthen, to deepen, making a shift of your awareness from the outside world to the inside world. Good. And then bring your feet right underneath your knees. Bring your arms next to you on the floor. Root the upper arm bones down. Root the feet down into the floor. And on your next inhale breath, press into your feet and lift the hips up towards bridge pose. And really energize the entire foot down into the floor and feel your outer hips, the outer hips sort of drawing in. You're narrowing the hip points. Draw the belly in and up, soften the jaw, the eyes. It doesn't have to be your biggest or most beautiful bridge. Just engage the legs, engage the hips, engage the belly, engage the glutes. Chest is open. Feel your breath. Feel your feet squarely planted on the floor. And then slowly lower yourself back down onto the mat. Again, feel the width of your back. Reroot the upper arm bones down into the floor. Connect the feet once again. Feel that you're not rolling in or out. And on your inhale, press down into the feet, the upper arms, lift the hips up towards bridge again. And you could stay right here, right? We're hugging the outer hips in, right? And if you want a little challenge, you're going to shift your weight to the right foot and just lift the left heel up. And see, maybe you could even take the entire left leg up and out. But stop the hips from getting wobbly or getting uneven. Can you keep them level? Place that foot back down. And then again, you can shift the weight towards the left foot. Just come up onto the right ball of the foot, lift up through the right heel. And you could stay right here if that's enough challenge, or reach the right leg out and see what do you need to engage in your legs to stop the pelvis from moving or tilting or becoming uneven. So hug the hips in, feel the left glute fire. Place that right foot back down, both feet into the floor. Really feel connected and integrated with the pelvis and the belly, and then lower the hips back down to the floor. Nice job. Draw both knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe rock from side to side, little baby massage on the back. And just notice, what have you awakened in the legs and the hips, the core? Good. Place the feet back down onto the mat. You'll take the right ankle, cross it over the left thigh. Take the right hand on the right thigh bone. Just press that right thigh away from you for a moment. Feel that rotation in the right hip joint. You could stay here or thread the hands through the legs to reach around, grab behind the left thigh for figure four. Keep the right foot flexed so the ankle is straight, and allow yourself to breathe into the openness of the right hip joint. Again, nothing too crazy, just starting to notice and bring awareness into the pelvis, the outer hips, the back. Good, and then let that go. Uncross the right foot and other side. So we'll take the left ankle, cross it over the right thigh. Take the left hand on the left thigh bone, press the entire left thigh bone away from your belly for a moment. Let that external rotation come in. And you could stay here, or when you're ready, you're bringing the right knee towards the chest, threading the arm through the legs. Breathe, keep the left foot flexed a little bit so the ankle is straight, and allowing the left hip to rotate open now. Notice, where do you feel restriction in the hip? And can you send the breath into the pelvis? Good. And then let that release. Bring both feet down onto the floor. Feel your back. And then we'll cross the right shin in front of the left. Reach forward, grab your feet, and just start to rock forward and back on the spine. So staying nice and round, giving your back a little massage. And do that for a few times. You're breathing in, breathing out. Nice. And then switch which shin is on top. Grab the feet and do the same thing. So rocking forward and back. Let your legs do a little bit of the motion for you, but you're really just massaging the spine. And then come all the way up to sit. And we'll make our way back to a downward facing dog now. So, however you want to get into it, however you want to make your way back, but find a downward facing dog. So, hands shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. And really today, I want you to send the thigh bones back. Nice, strong, straight arms, right? Lengthening through the spine, rooting down through the hands and feet, and really notice the breath. Right, so can you feel the movement of your inhale, your exhale drawing into the body? And then bring your feet all the way together now in downward facing dog. So big toes touching. And then reach the right leg up and back. Arms stay straight and strong. Waist is lengthening. And I want you to keep the right hip in line with the left. Flex through the right heel. Push out through the outer left hip. Push out through the inner right heel. And hug the hips in towards each other, right? So the outer hips, the hip points are narrowing. And then to feel the difference, now you get to open the right hip, turning the right hip open, bending the right knee. Allow yourself to open up in that joint, yawn the hip open, maybe even looking under your right armpit with your gaze. See what that feels like in the hip. And then extend the right leg, square the hips back towards the floor, right hip in line with left. Hollow out the belly, hug the outer hips in, reach through the right and the left heel, both arms straight. And then release that right foot down to downward facing dog. Nice. On an inhale, we'll come forward to a plank pose, shoulders over the wrists, straight, strong legs. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower the body to the floor. Inhale, take a cobra pose, lengthening the waist from the pelvis. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Press down through the hands and feet. And then once again, bring the feet all the way together, big toes touching. Left leg is going to fly up into the air now. Start with the hips square towards the floor. So left hip in line with the right. Hug your outer hips in towards the midline. Reach through that top heel and take the outer right hip and draw it back and in. Press through the fingertips. Arms are straight and strong. And then open the hip, yawning it open now. So letting that left hip start to stack over the right. Bend the top knee. Maybe even looking under the left armpit, feel the openness in the hip joint and find a breath here. And then extend the top leg, bring the hips back to square towards the floor and feel the difference between the two, right? That closed hip and then the opening of the hip. Take a breath here, reach through the both heels, and then exhale, bring the foot down into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose, nice and strong. As you exhale, you'll bend your elbows, come to the floor. Inhale, cobra pose, lengthening the sternum and the waist away from the pelvis. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. And then walk your feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, look forward, get space. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach the arms over the head, get tall. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Breathe in at the top. As you exhale, lower to the floor. Inhale, take a back bend, cobra pose, lift and open the chest. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts into the air. Exhale, pull the right foot all the way through the hands, look forward. Inhale, step the back foot to meet the front, look front. Exhale, drop the head and fold. Inhale, press into the feet, rise up, gaze up at the thumbs. Exhale, arms by your sides, Tadasana. Again, Surya A. Inhale, rise up with the arms. Exhale, fold over your legs, head down. Inhale, head up. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank pose. Breathe in at the top. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower down. Inhale, take your cobra or your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises up. Exhale, pull it all the way through the hands. Look front. Inhale, step the right foot to meet the left. Look up. Exhale, head down and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Gaze up at the thumbs. Exhale, Tadasana, arms by your sides. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, head up. Exhale, plant hands, step back to plank. Breathe in here. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower through chaturanga or to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra this time. Exhale, downward dog. As you breathe in, right leg floats up. As you breathe out, bring the right foot between the hands. Look forward. Inhale, left foot steps to meet the right. Look up. Exhale, strong legs as you fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Get tall as you look to the thumbs, and exhale, Tadasana. One more. Inhale, rise up, look up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Breathe in, head up. Breathe out, hands down, plank pose. Breathe in here. Exhale, bend the elbows through chaturanga or to the floor. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, hips back, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward, look front. Inhale, right foot steps forward, head up. Exhale, head down and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, gaze at the thumbs. Exhale, Tadasana. Take a moment to stand strong. Hug the outer legs in. Feel the midline of the body strong. Shoulders down. Hug the hip points, narrow the hips in. Shift your weight onto the right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot, and then we'll turn that left hip out, taking tree pose on the right side. And you can have the foot on the floor, or if it's available, bringing that left foot up into the right thigh. And then take your hands on the outside of your hips and actually press them in towards each other a little bit. Feel that sensation of hugging in with the hips towards the midline. And then you could stay there with the hands, or maybe they're going to come to prayer at the center of the chest. If the balance feels good, feel free to reach the arms up. But press your left foot into your leg, press your right leg into the bottom of your left foot, and hug everything into that straight line up and down right at the center of the body. Feel your breath. Heavy the tailbone, soften the rib cage in and back. If the arms are lifted, bring them back through the heart. And then bring your hands to your hips. You're going to unhook that foot, bring the knee up in front, take a breath in, and then exhale. We'll kick the leg back towards warrior three. So really press down through the right big toe mound, straight strong leg of the left leg, and then flex through the left foot, reach through the inner left heel. But most importantly today, outer hips hugging in towards the center as you scoop the belly in and up, lengthening out of the lower back. Soften your jaw, your gaze, and see if you can find some stability. Press down into the right leg, hug the hips in, and come all the way up to stand. Tadasana. Shoulders back, feel your breath. Notice how you're standing, notice how the hips feel. Good, and then we'll shift to the other side. So bring the weight onto the left foot, and you can come up to the right ball of the foot and slowly make your way into tree pose on this side. So turning out in the right hip socket. If the balance is funny, just leave the right ball of the foot on the floor today. Or if you can, you're going to bring that foot up into the thigh. Take the hands on the hips, press the outer hips in towards the center. Narrow the front hip points towards each other. Heavy the tailbone, engage and hollow out the low belly. And then bring the hands to the heart. Or they could reach up if the balance is feeling good. But draw everything into the center. So the right foot is pressing towards the left thigh is pressing towards the right foot. And I want you to feel a strong line of energy right in the center of your body, hugging in to the middle. Feel your breath. Good. And if the arms are lifted, draw them back in through the heart. And then bring them right onto the hips. Unhook your right foot, bring the knee forward, take a breath in, left big toe mound presses down. Exhale, kick back towards warrior three. And with your hands on your hips, you can feel, are my hips level? Can I get the right hip down in line with the left? What do I have to do to stabilize that? So hug your outer hips in, lift the low belly, soften the rib cage in towards the spine, and push out through both heels. But feel a sense of the hip points narrowing, and then root into the left foot, stand all the way up, Tadasana. Arms down by your sides, legs are drawing in and strong. And notice the warmth or sensation that you might be feeling in the legs. Inhale, sit down into chair pose. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step the right foot way back to a low lunge and then drop the right knee down. Release the back toes, climb up to your front thigh, and let yourself sink a little bit more into the front of the right hip. Hook the thumbs, reach the arms up. And instead of thinking about a deep back bend here, I want you to really lift up out of the waist. Heavy the tailbone down. And again, even here, take the outer hips and hug them into the midline. Take your inner thighs and draw them in towards each other as if you could scissor the legs together. Release the hands down towards the front foot. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee for a moment. Feel the strength of the back leg, some space in the lower spine. And then release the back knee back down towards the floor and climb on up with the hands on the hips. We're going to take a breath in. And then on the exhale, I want you to gather your energy up, hug everything in towards the middle to lift the back knee up any amount. And then inhale, gently drop it back down with control. Inhale, I hug into the middle of the mat to lift. Exhale, slowly lower. Use the energy, the hips, the pelvis, the belly, the legs to lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Good. And really hug in through the hips to lift and lower the knee back down. Good. One more time. We're going to hug into center. It's a lot of work on the legs. And then we're going to stay up here in this high lunge. If it feels good to extend through the back heel a little bit, feel free. Arms could reach up by the ears. Keep the front knee bending. Keep hugging in from the outside in. And then you get to open up into warrior two. So the back heel comes down to the floor. Let that left knee rise forward towards the second toe of the left foot. And feel that line of energy in the outer left hip, outer left thigh. Inhale, straighten the front leg for a moment. Exhale, bend the left knee again, and we'll take left forearm to thigh, right arm across right ear, extended side angle on the right side. So lifting out of the right side of the body, letting that waist open up, letting the hips stay open and wide. Breathe into any sensation you have in the body. Feel the strength of your legs. And then release the hands down on either side of that front foot. And then we'll take the left foot to the left and bring both hands on the inside of the left foot for lizard pose. So from here, you could move forward and back, moving around with the back knee lifted. You could drop the back knee to the floor. If you're feeling really open in the hips today, you could climb down onto your forearms. But keep the left big toe mound pressing down into the floor and hug your inner left knee and inner left thigh in towards the torso for now. Breathe and feel the stability of the hips and any opening that needs to happen in the hip here as well. Soft, full breath in and out. Good. And then if you're on the forearms, we'll climb back up to the hands. And from here, press the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Take the left hand in the inside of the left knee and thigh. And very gently, you're going to let that left knee open to the left, coming to the outside edge of the left foot. Keep a micro bend in the right elbow. Keep drawing the shoulders down the back. And gently press that left thigh away from you, rotating open into the left socket of the hip. Good. Bring that foot back into center. Lift the back knee, hands on either side of the front foot. And then we'll step back to plank pose, breathe in. On the exhale, come down to forearm plank. So dropping down on the forearms. And then we'll come onto the right forearm, right fingers point towards the sides of the mat, and come onto a forearm Vashisthasana. And your top hand could stay on the hip or reach it up towards the sky. Press the right shoulder down the back. Hug the outer hip points in towards each other. Here, really engage into the midline. Feel strong. Inhale. Exhale, come back to that forearm plank right in the center. Take a breath in, and then exhale, lower the hips down, point the toes, Sphinx pose. Widen across the chest. Notice any warmth or sensation in the pelvis, the belly, the hips, the glutes. Inhale, can you open the chest a little more and then release the forehead, slide the hands back. Inhale, come to upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice your breath. And then walk the feet all the way up to meet the hands. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Gaze over the head. Exhale, Tadasana. We'll do that whole thing on the other side. So bend the knees, Utkatasana chair, inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, head up. Exhale, step the left foot way back into a lunge. Good. Drop that back knee gently down to the floor. Climb up to the right thigh. Release the back toes. Let the front of the left thigh drop a little closer to the floor, but hug in through the outer hips. You could stay here or hook your thumbs in front and reach up through the waist. Allowing yourself to sink into the pose, yes, but hugging in as well towards the midline for support. Tailbone heavy. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Good. And then release the hands on either side of the front foot. Curl your back toes under, lift the back knee, come to low lunge for a moment. Let the hips come up for just a second and feel the feet down into the floor. And then we'll release that back knee back down. Keep the back toes curled under and come on up, hands on the hips. We'll take a breath in. On the exhale, I want you to hug into the midline of the body to lift and raise the back knee. And then inhale with control, we lower it gently back down. As you exhale, squeeze in with the hips, press into the right heel to lift and lower it back down. Inhale and exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale and lower. So lots of energetic work here. We're drawing in and up. Feel the power of the legs, tailbone heavy, and lower it down. And one more. Press into the center to rise up and lower it down. And then this time we come on up to stay. You could stay with the hands on the hips or reach the arms up, high lunge, working into maybe extending the back leg a little bit more. Keep the front knee bending. We'll take a big breath in, really feel length in the waist. Exhale. Breathe in and then breathe out. You get to open up into your warrior two. So rotating out through the right hip now, right knee tracking over the second toe of the right foot. Arms are strong. Breathe and let the tailbone heavy as that right hip opens. Feel any sensation in the outer side of the right thigh and right hip. Inhale, extend the front leg. Exhale, bend back now, right forearm to right thigh. Left arm sweeps across the left ear, extended side angle. Feel the stability of your pelvis and your legs, all that energy that you just built into the legs rising up and down from the floor. Right? Can you use that stability, the awakeness of the thighs, the outer hips, the glutes to stabilize here? Release the hands down, spin the back heel up, and we'll take lizard on this side. So scoot the right foot to the right a little bit, both hands on the inside of the right foot on the floor. Feel free to move around here, or you could release that back knee down towards the floor, let the front of the left hip release. If you're really feeling open in the hips, then maybe climbing down to the forearms, but keep the right knee and right thigh hugging in towards the torso to start. Allow yourself to breathe deeply here in this pose. Notice the sensations in the hips, the pelvis, and how can you balance the feelings of flexibility and stability? Right? Do you need to feel more open? Do you need more support and stability? If you're on the forearms, climb back up. Put the left hand under left shoulder. Right hand goes on the inside of the right thigh and knee. Gently press that right thigh away from you as you roll onto the right edge of the foot. Let the chest roll open a little towards the sky. Micro bend your left elbow and draw both shoulders down the back. Breathe and feel that external rotation in the right hip. Take it easy. Inhale. Exhale. Any amount here, any amount opening. Be gentle with yourself. Notice what you feel. Good. And then bring that right big toe back down, even out, hands on either side of the front foot, step back to plank, lower down to your forearms, and we'll set up for that forearm plank on the other side. So on to the left elbow. Stack your feet, right hand to right hip or right arm to sky. Lift your hips up and then take both sides of the outer hips and hug them into the center. Hollow out your belly. Shoot your tailbone to your heels and pull your toes towards your nose. Good. Come back to center on forearms. And then as you exhale, let your hips lower down towards the floor. Point the toes, Sphinx pose. Dragging the elbows back towards the outer hips as the sternum drags through as if it could come right through the fingers. Feel some length through both sides of the waist, the front of the belly. The pelvis is secure and anchored to the floor. Release the forehead down, slide the hands way back. Inhale, straighten the legs and arms for upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Root into the hands and feet. Take a breath. And then walk your feet up to meet your hands. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down and fold. Hug in with your hips as you rise up. Inhale, gaze at the thumbs. Exhale, hands into the heart. Bring the hands onto the hips. Stand on the right foot. Inhale, left knee comes up in front. Exhale, kick back towards warrior three once again. Keep the hands on the hips. Press through the back heel, press through the right heel. Hug in, just like we have the whole class, right? Hugging in. And then float the right fingertips down to a block of the floor under the right shoulder and open the left hip over the right now, pushing out through the heels still. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. That top arm can reach up to the ceiling. If the balance feels good, you can even bring the gaze all the way up to the top thumb. And then bring the left fingertips back down, square the hips towards the floor again, and bend both knees, sliding the left knee behind the right to sit all the way down for a seated twist. So sitting down, really root that outer right hip, root the right big toe mound down, and we'll take the right hand back as we inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, hooking that left arm on the outside of the right knee or thigh. Turn and look over your right shoulder. And feel not only the twist in the spine here, but maybe even drawing that right thigh, the right knee, across the midline of the body a little bit to feel some opening and a little bit of stretch in the outer right thigh, the outer right hip, and the glute and the hip. We'll take a few more breaths here. And then come to center and take one breath in the opposite direction, counter twist. And then lean back to extend the left leg forward, and we'll keep that right leg crossed over like a figure four. So flex the right foot. Feel that right hip in external rotation. And you could stay right here, just letting that right thigh get heavy. Or if you want to fold forward, you'll reach forward, grabbing for a part of the leg or maybe the foot. Allowing yourself to settle down into the opening of the right hip, the opening of the back of the left leg. Keep the right ankle flexed, the foot flexed, the ankle strong, and breathe and allow the right hip to soften open. Using any warmth or sensation from the class so far to open and soften in the joint. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, gently sit up. We'll place the right foot down on the floor for a moment. And then extend that right leg out along next to the left. Bring the hands back behind you. Point your fingers towards your body. Squeeze the legs together. Point the toes. Roll the chest open, widening across the collarbones. And then on an inhale, you're going to point the toes towards the floor, press into the hands, and lift the entire back body up. Breathe as you activate the back of the body, but also, again, hugging in. Slowly lower the hips back down, lifting up tall. And then cross your shins, roll through. We'll step back, downward facing dog. Press the thigh bones back, and then walk the feet all the way forward. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down and fold. Strong legs as you rise up. Gaze up at the thumbs. Exhale, hands into the hips. Good. We'll shift the weight onto the left foot now. Inhale, bring the right knee up in front. And as you exhale, we'll kick that leg back to warrior three on this side. With the hands on the hips, you can feel, are your hips uneven, or can you square them towards the floor by hugging into the midline and scooping the belly? Drive out through both heels. And then slowly float the left fingertips under the shoulder to the floor or a block. Start to float the right hip open over the left now. Both legs are still pushing for Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. Right arm can extend up. Gaze could come up towards the right fingers if you feel steady. Breathe. Lengthen out through the waist. Bring the right fingertip back to the floor. Square the hips back to the mat. And then bend both knees and with control, slowly sit down, sliding that right knee back behind the left foot. Even yourself out. Really anchor that outer left hip down. Good. And then we'll take the left hand back behind us. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, twisting, hooking that right arm to the outside of the left thigh. And turn and look back over the left shoulder. Feel your breath, right? And again, not just twisting in the thigh, but feeling a sense of drawing that left thigh across the midline of your body a little bit, creating a sense of release and relief for the outer left thigh, the outer left glute. Notice your breath and then come back to center. We'll extend that right leg out now and then crossing that left ankle over the right thigh for that figure four seated. Really root the right thigh down. Flex your left foot. And again, you could stay right here just sitting if that's enough in the hip, or take a fold forward, grabbing for the leg or the foot. Allow that left thigh bone to soften down into the pelvis and let it rotate open. Notice what you feel in your body, especially right to left. Do you notice that one hip likes to rotate open more than the other? Come into the sensation and the rhythm of your breath and surrender to the pose. Inhale, look up. Exhale, sit up. Bring that left foot down onto the floor and then send the left leg out along the right. And once again, we'll bring the hands back behind us, point the fingers towards the hips, squeeze the legs together, roll the chest open, right? Feel the back bend before we even lift the hips. And then as you lift, you'll bring the toes down, point the big toes towards the floor, squeeze all the outer part of the leg into the inner part of the leg, and then the entire back body presses up towards the front. And then slowly lower the hips back down. Nice work, yogis. Inhale, get tall. And then exhale, draw the soles of the feet together. We'll take Baddha Konasana. So you can scoot your hips in a little bit closer towards your heels. And just draw up through the sides of the waist and allow the groins to deepen down into the floor as the inner thighs spread wide to the sides of the room. And feel that deep external rotation in the hip. And then opening the legs all the way out, we'll take a wide angle seated forward bend. So inhale, fingertips behind, lift the heart. Activate the legs down, root them. And then exhale, you'll fold forward any amount. And everyone's going to be different here. So finding a place that you can stay grounded in the pelvis, you can stay grounded in the legs and the feet, but allowing yourself to release any amount forward. Notice where your thoughts go. And if they are wandering all over, you can bring them back to the rhythm of your breath. Or bring your thoughts back to any feelings or sensations happening in the body. And then slowly walk the hands back in. Bend the knees once again, bring soles of the feet back together again for Baddha Konasana. And then cross your right shin in front of your left. Flex your feet and hug the legs in towards center. And on an exhale, we'll fold forward over our simple cross-legged. Breathe into the hips, the lower back. Allow your exhale breath to start to get a little longer. And then slowly come up. You'll lean back, switch shin is in front. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, fold over the cross of the legs. Surrender the spine out and down. Surrender the legs and the pelvis down towards the floor. Lengthen the exhale breath and slowly come up. From here, we are going to come to Navasana, boat pose. So come to sit. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the floor in front of you. Grab behind your thighs, lift up through the waist, and lean back a little bit. And you could stay there or float the feet up, bringing the toes sort of up in line with the nose. Hug everything into center. And you could stay with your hands on the thighs, or if you don't need them, you're going to reach them parallel to the floor. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw. Lift the corners of your mouth, lift your waist, hug into all that stability and warmth and energy in the center. And then bring the feet down. Wrap your arms around in the front of your shins and actually bring your forehead in towards your knees and sort of drape into a little ball. Take a breath or two into your back body and let everything soften. Beautiful. And then come on up to sit. And we'll roll ourselves all the way back down gently onto our backs. Bring the heels in towards the sit bones. Press the arms down by your sides. And just like we began, we'll come back to Setu Bandhasana or bridge pose. So press into the feet, lift the hips up. Root the upper outer arms down. Hug the outer hips in. Narrow the front hip points. Send the tailbone through the knees and check out your feet. Are you rolling to the outside edges? Are your thighs in a V or are they parallel to each other? Inhale, can you integrate and activate the entire pelvis in towards the center? Breathe in and exhale, slowly lower the hips down. Good. And then we'll take a moment in Supta Baddha Konasana. So let the thighs open, bring the bottoms of the feet together. Bring the hands onto the belly. Let the weight of your thigh bones drop open. Keep softening the groins and the pubic bone down and have a sense of the back widening and the belly moving with the breath. Take a breath or two here and again allow the weight of your body to drop towards the floor. Feel the opening in the hip and the pelvis. Notice any warmth. Where is the body alive and awake? Use your hands to bring the knees back up, place the feet back onto the floor. And then cross your right thigh over your left. Pick your hips up, move them slightly to the right, and then let the knees drop left as you extend your right arm out along the floor. And I like to use that left hand to gently drape over my right thigh, my right knee, to give it a little bit of weight, drawing it across my body. Gaze can stay up, or you could turn your gaze towards your right fingers. Let's start to surrender into gravity a little bit here. Can you feel your breath moving up and down your spine? Do you feel any opening in the outer right hip and the glute? And then gently come back to center and uncross the legs. Bring the pelvis underneath the shoulders. And bring the left thigh over the right thigh now. Pick the hips up and move them just slightly to the left. And drop the knees to the right. Left arm extends out along the floor. And you can use your right hand to gently draw that left thigh, left knee down towards the floor any amount. Surrender to the weight of your body into the floor. Are you having any places where you feel you're holding or tensing? And if you do, can you allow your exhale breath to carry that tension away? Take another breath and then slowly come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. If you want, you can rock from side to side on the lower back. And then slowly Make your way into a Shavasana, so extending the legs out from the hips. Let the feet flop open. Roll the shoulders underneath to turn the palms up. Notice where your head is resting. Can you make it even out from the spine? And then let the body drop into the floor and stay for as long as you can. Shavasana.